Online education is a growing and ever-changing arena that we as educators are tasked with staying current on not only the best education techniques, but the current technology to teach online. Welcome to the world of EdCraft. These are the challenges and opportunities in synchronous online teaching. I'm Brian Stevens, a senior lecturer in business analytics at the Haslam College of Business at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. This first part covers my journey starting out teaching online to where I currently am now. My journey into online education started back in 2013. A professor was retiring and he taught the online class, and I had the opportunity to teach it. I'd only been teaching for about 2 years, and I was really fearful because I knew online teaching would not be like in-person teaching. I can't walk through the rows of students. I can't make eye contact with my students so well. This is going to be a very different experience. So I decided I needed to get students to interact with not only me, but with each other. And I think that's the key. The building of community with both you and between students makes the classroom work. So we taught via Blackboard Collaborate, and I had one computer. I would simply just have the webcam and the chat and also share my screen and the slides, and it worked. Students enjoyed it, and I got them to interact, and I thought, we need to expand this. We need to do something more. So in 2016, I started using Zoom, and I used a 2-computer setup. I had a podium where I would teach with the slides from, and then I would have a camera facing towards me from my webcam on my MacBook, and the students would know that when I looked at the camera, I could see what they were typing in the chat, and when I was looking away from them, I was going over the slides. And I would make it a point to look between the camera and also the slides, and students would interact, and they really liked that. There was one point where I didn't have the second computer, and students were so confused, and they didn't know when I could see what they were typing, and it definitely created confusion. So this setup worked. And one thing I want to point out is I was using, at that point, a very minimum setup. The podium was from the Haslam College of Business in the classroom, and my computer was just the computer from the university. So I was using pretty much bare minimum resources, and the students were enjoying it. The students had a good experience where they were interacting with me, where they were interacting with other students. And it's not about having all the resources, it's about utilizing the resources you have. And because of the success we had, I was lucky enough that the Haslam College of Business started to build us an online studio. We got a really excellent camera. We got lights, microphone, everything we needed to give a superior online experience. And with more resources came more capabilities. And I decided we shouldn't use Zoom anymore. We should stream online via YouTube. I was inspired by Twitch and YouTube gaming and thought, let's create more of a TV show experience where students get more visuals, where there's more fun, where there's more collaboration. And from this, we've created our new online experience, which you can see right here on this channel. And of course, 2020 has been quite a year. And with that, I was lucky enough that the Haslam College of Business allowed me to take the studio home and literally put it in my 1-bedroom apartment. So I took and put everything we had in a sizable room into a 1-bedroom apartment. And if I had probably kicked my foot too far out of the bed, not joking, I would have knocked over the monitor that was on a desk right behind my bed. If I moved a little too far to the right, I'd knock over the camera. Everything was all around the room. And basically, it made for a pretty interesting 6 months teaching from a 1-bedroom apartment. And I'm lucky enough now that I'm actually teaching from Texas, still at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, honored to be there. And I now teach out of a spare bedroom that we have, and it works excellent. I have more space. I'm able to move around this room. We actually put a whiteboard up, so that way I can switch between different scenes and teach on the whiteboard. And once again, it's not about having all the resources. It's about utilizing the resources you have. Throughout my experience in online teaching, students have responded positively because I've always tried to craft the experience around what I have, trying to become a master of your own resources, making the experience flow together. That way there are no gaps. And it just takes becoming acquainted with what you have and how to use it, and giving the students this very strong and positive online experience. So what does our current online experience look like, and what are we achieving with it? Let's go ahead and take a little look at that. With teaching via YouTube, one of the biggest things we've seen is that it actually works better with larger classrooms. So I have a class of 340 students versus a class of 115 students. You might think, as we do, it's better to have smaller classrooms. And for in person, I think that's essential. Uh, a large in person class just makes it very hard to communicate topics or keep everyone focused. But with the larger class online, I usually see students getting to know each other, interacting more with each other, and it kind of creates more of a community. And I've had better experiences, I would say, in my larger online classrooms than I have my smaller ones because the chat is usually interactive, and a lot of students have told me they learn via the chat. And this is kind of the key, it's interaction. Everything boils down to getting them to not only be in the class, but interacting in the class. I'm sure a lot of our students, and mine too, simply load up the video, load up the screen, load up Zoom, and then maybe are staring at something else. And my goal is to stop them from having another window open, stop them from having headphones in, listening to something, keep them on track, and keep them focused on what we're doing. That is my goal throughout all of this. Keep them asking questions, keep them replying to my questions, keep them replying to each other's questions. That is my goal. And I believe it's working because we are seeing more views on the videos than there are students in the class. And this tells me that students are, one, not only watching the video live, and usually we have about 60-70% of students watching live, but we also have students coming back and watching the videos, which is kind of my goal. That if we make a good enough video here, it can be a resource for students to use when they review, and also when they just want to go over the topic, if they still have the links to the videos, because these are unlisted videos, so we know the views are coming from our students who originally had access to these videos, that they can utilize these videos again to review a concept, like maybe a t-test, or the chi-squared test. They want to review it, they have the link, and they can access it. So one thing that really helps with this is the timestamps. You'll get to see an example of that, or you can kind of just look below this video and see the timestamps for this video. And these timestamps help students go to the exact moment in the video where we're talking through these concepts. And students love the timestamps. Some students even help me by adding additional timestamps in the comments, and then I can go ahead and add these timestamps to the videos. And one thing you might be asking, well, how do you know this is working? And the biggest thing right here is the grades are excellent. Students' performance throughout the class are just as good as in-person classes, and that's one thing we are really happy about, is their performance meets what we are seeing from in-person classes, and that's why we continue to do online education. So let's take a look at what this online format looks like. So what we have right here is an example of me starting out a video, and the timestamps, I usually start with my introduction screen on the left, and you can see it's just the general stats one and showing some images of Knoxville and the University of Tennessee, and you can see the timestamps below that students can use to quickly go through the video and get to the section they're interested in. I also have a bunch of different teaching methods, which I'll kind of showcase in just a moment, that kind of keeps students interested in what we're doing. We don't always stay on one screen. We switch through different teaching methods and do things like speed runs right here, which we were speed running how to make a pivot chart right here. So with this, what are some of these teaching methods that I'm using? Well, let's check a few out. Let's check out a speed run right here. What you'll notice is I was quickly able to go over to a speed run by just clicking one button. Many of you might know about the Stream Deck, and I'll go into more details on that later on. From here, I can actually write on the screen at any point I want and just do drawings or go through examples. And I have this set up right now to go to a whiteboard that I use, and also I can start my timer if I'm trying to communicate a topic quickly. I generally use speed runs for reviews. Students in the chat can be like, do a speed run of the topic, and I'll hop over and do a speed run of a topic. They're usually done at the end of class, or students just keep posting in the chat, do a speed run. It's meant more of a review. We never do speed runs to start, but I want to keep it fun. I want to keep it interesting, and sometimes students bet on how quickly I can do it. And students have reacted very positively to this teaching method right here. Other things I have, generally I start the class right here from usually kind of my workstation. Let's go over and check that out. So here I am, just a different view right here, and I can put up my UT screen right there. And I usually start by just talking directly to the students to start the class, and students we have this conversation and kind of where are we at the start of class. So switching between these different teaching styles right here, I think helps a lot. And this is just the surface of what I can do with this studio. Let's hop back over to the main screen right here. I've got a bunch of other things we've already set up and have in place throughout the semester, like when we do Know Your Variable Types. Let's just check that out here.
Know your variable types.
That is my producer and my video assistant, Jason, who's helped me out multiple times. And Jason's helped me grow my understanding of things like Photoshop and Premiere Pro. So now I'm able to make some of those things myself, but the vocals was definitely Jason. So what you're noticing right here is a lot of these things are very seamless. They're very integrated into what I can do. I can just choose to do something and it happens. I can show my screen. I can hop over to the other view. And that's kind of one of the benefits of what I can currently do with this setup. And throughout these videos, I hope to inspire you to make your own setup that works and is seamless. That way students can see you as a master of this craft of online teaching. So how are students responding to our online teaching? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the reviews from students. Fall 2019 was our first semester teaching online via YouTube. And you'll notice that many of the responses here are either that the students strongly agree or agree. We achieved scores close to 5, and I was very proud of this, but we wanted to keep growing what we were doing. We wanted to keep expanding upon it. And in mini-term 2020, I was astounded that many of our scores were actually 5 out of 5. This class had about 50 students in it, and it's actually the class that came up with the name Stat Nation. And this will truly be a class that I'll never forget. They interacted so much with each other and so much with me, and the grades were excellent. And I can only hope that I can recreate this experience every semester. It's just hard to improve from here, but I'm going to continue to try. I'm going to continue to stay current with what's going on, incorporate new ideas, and try to keep my teaching style fresh and new every semester that students can enjoy it, and also I can enjoy what I'm doing. But let's hear what the students have to say about this, what the students think about the teaching method. Do you think UT should keep growing and investing in this type of education?
I think so, because with like all like the new technology that we have, it would be a shame to not really like incorporate that into our classes. And like I have a better grade in this class than I do in my other like live classes, and I feel like I'm more engaged and actually like understand the class. It's not just doing the assignments and just doing the quizzes to like get good grades. It's like I understand like holistically. So I think it would be important to like transfer that over to other classes, so that way you can do as equally well in other classes too.
They have no idea, and you were asked to explain this experience, this class to them, just in your own words. What would you say?
Happy. It honestly just makes me happy, because like I log on, I'm at my own house, I usually have food or like whatever I need, because it's the end of the day.
Do you feel like you're around people and your instructor when you're in class?
I mean, I think so. Like, I know I'm always looking at the chat and paying attention, but I'm also looking at people. Because you do respond so much to the chat and stuff, it does feel like we're in real class. I will say when, like for the flipped classroom, it wasn't like that. You know, there was no chat, there was no anything, and that felt a lot more like you're reading from a textbook, where this feels like you're in class. And you're around other people. And I actually like the chat, because obviously you're not talking in a real lecture. You know, people might answer questions, but you're not actually chatting and stuff like that. So I think it actually adds another level of like community and being around other people.
What is your experience, and what would you want them to know?
Well, I feel like it's not just you posting videos, it's like you're doing it with us. And it's like people in the comment section also, if you don't answer something, other people answer it. So it's like, if you might not answer right away, someone else responds to my question before you even get to ask sometimes. And it's like, you add links onto the videos. So I feel like it's not just a video, it's a lot more interaction than us watching. It's like you listening, responding, us listening and responding.
Not just the educational aspect of it, but maybe what are some fun things you would remember from either live videos or experiences in the class?
I remember one really vividly when you had it was like the randomization and the wolf was popping up. Like, I just remember really getting a kick out of that. Because I will say, I'm a senior, so I'm in a lot of like not fun classes, like organic and, you know, like I have plenty of classes that are not fun.
If this class was not live and it was just videos of me doing what I'm doing, would that subtract from the experience?
100%. So if this class wasn't live, I would not have the ability to even ask a dumb question, to make a dumb statement, or to even just like make you laugh. Because I remember one of the first few times my dad had called me or FaceTimed me, and I literally just flipped the screen and was like, hey, I'm in class right now. And he goes, oh, that's really cool.
Yes, this. How can a future student be successful in this class? Like next semester, a student taking it, how would they be successful?
Just watch it. Literally just watch it.
So what are students saying about this class?
And like I will say, not because you're my teacher and the finals coming up, I will say there's an overwhelming majority that says if you're going to take Stats 201, because a lot of majors have to take it with you online.
Thank you for watching. It's really collaboration that makes this all possible. Dr. Andrew Lowe and Dr. Sean Williams and I have been collaborating for months, improving our setups and learning from what each other does. You can find links to their videos and the paper that we've written in the description below. If you're interested, feel free to email me with your questions at bstevens@utk.edu.